Hello and welcome to the RPM for Dynamics GP webinar. My name is Blake Rockwell. I am your main point of contact for all things GP here at Rockton Software. You can reach me anytime at sales@rocktonsoftware.com. During this webinar, everyone will be muted. If you have any questions, we have the question box here. You can just type your questions in the box and they will be answered at the end. That's all I have for me, so I'd like to hand it off to Mark.
Thank you, Blake. My name is Mark Rockwell. I'll be doing this webinar today, showing you how we can make things work simpler and easier with RPM, Rockton Pricing Management, when coupled with Dynamics GP. We've been doing GP add-ons since 1999, and RPM is a newer iteration of what we used to have as OmniPrice, and it's a very powerful tool to do all kinds of slicing and dicing of your pricing. So let's go ahead and, well, actually, we'll do a couple of these slides here. If you want to manage multiple price lists, work on rebates, or if you're just frustrated with pricing, we handle those things. And we do that with our pricing engine. Our pricing engine is like a giant wizardry-like machine. On the left-hand side, you put in things like your item and your customer and the date, and of course, some other things like that. But usually it's a customer item date combo. You put it in the machine, we go through a bunch of calculations, and we split out a price. And that's very handy because you can slice and dice so many ways that you can get a price. But along with the price, we spit out some what are called price adjustments, which includes discounts and other things like commissions, royalties, rebates, margins, and stuff like that. So it's a very powerful tool in that way. Let's go ahead and get some real live data going here. Right now I've got GP pulled up and I have a sales and ordered invoice. We work with quotes, orders, and invoices inside of the sales transaction entry window. What RPM is designed to do is be seamless to the end user. And so I'm just typing away here. I'm going to look up a SCSI hard drive that I want to sell here. And I'm going to use Smart Fill, which is one of our tools. Type in SCSI, and with this 1 terabyte SCSI RAID controller, I'm going to select it. And the price of $890 just popped in. I do need to override shorts because I'm selling a lot of those today in my demos. And $890 is the price that they get. And that's because we're selling this to Advanced Paper. And Advanced Paper happens to be an USA-based customer. Their customer class, which I have some filters on, is based in USA, and that's that customer class right there. And it's very possible that you sell to somebody else. So I'm going to sell to our favorite person, Aaron Fitz. He buys lots of stuff in our GP days. You notice that he's buying the same machine, and he's paying $1,482.40 for it. And that's because he is not a USA customer. He's one of our gold customers, or labeled as such, and there's a reason for, and I'll just double check that his customer class is labeled gold right here. And that allows us, what that means is that we can use the customer class along with other attributes to determine who gets what price at a given time. Additionally, whenever we sell this item, RPM will go through and it will send some price adjustments back. So in this case, we are tracking some of the price adjustments. One of these is a 17% discount, which is $302.60 off of the first price that started. And that's how it ended up with the $1,482. Now you'll notice the cost $890 happened to be, we were selling at cost, I guess, to the other guy. This another setup is just based on where the price starts from. We'll get to that in a minute. But as you adjust that price from where it starts from, you can book things to the GL using RPM. And here's a couple examples. One is this discount, and then there may be a $5 fee for a recycling fee or some other type of reason. Again, we can track those two GL accounts, and that allows you to basically accumulate different discounts or accumulate commissions or rebates and things like that, and save them up so that you know on a periodic basis how much you owe or should be collecting from a given vendor or customer. So we use rebate management for that, which is an advanced part of this demo. So the ability to collect a whole bunch of rebates up and then rebate somebody back that money is very possible with our product. So we'll go under the curtains here back to the RPM interface. This is a web-based interface. It's based on SQL Server, and the SQL Server sits next to that database sits next to your GP instance, and we integrate with GP, and we pull over the ERP data from GP, and that includes a list of your customers. So there's good old Aaron Fitz and Adam Park. This is using the World Online or the sample data. Along with the customers, each customer we pull over their attributes, their customer attributes, and you can map any attribute you want from GP. In this case, we've got the customer class, which happens to be gold, and likewise on items, we bring over the items. We bring over in this class, we're bringing over the item class as well. And you can set up different item classes and item attributes and customer attributes and map those to customers' items. If there's any piece of information that will determine a price being different, such as the customer's salesperson, the customer's country of origin, or that zip code, information like that, all of that can be brought over as an attribute and help slice and dice how pricing gets determined. In addition to your customers and items, we bring over units of measure. Those are important because pricing can change based on unit of measure. Certainly currencies, we do support multi-currency. And then we have this, this document attribute concept, which allows you to take things off the screen or off of a specific document and use those. For instance, you might be shipping to Switzerland and you want to perhaps charge an extra freight charge for that Switzerland extra international shipping. Well, that's when a document attribute would come in handy. And then warehouse basics and your locations, and of course GL accounts. The GL accounts is used for mapping back to those price adjustments it may be. The goal of RPM is to find a price schedule. A price schedule maps one-to-one to price levels inside of GP. And then these, if you're familiar with the sample company, these are the price levels that are set up. When we use the price schedules, the price schedule will use a set of calculations to determine a price, and we'll pass that information plus some other stuff back to GP. We have two concepts of pricing. There's this concept called dynamic pricing, which has nothing to do with the name Dynamics GP, it's dynamically done. And there's static pricing. For instance, you may want a price from the retail customer price. In that way, you pass us which price schedule or price level you want to use, and we will use this price schedule to go calculate a price. Alternatively, we have dynamic pricing, and I have two different price schedules set up to use dynamically, and they have a rank, and these both happen to be at rank 1. And what happens in this case is you say, hey, I want to use dynamic pricing. I'm not going to pass RPM a price schedule. I'm going to just let RPM choose. And what RPM will do is it will start at price level 1, dynamic rank 1. It will take all of the rank 1s and evaluate the price of each. And then we'll take the best price between them all and return that instead, as well as which price schedule they ended up using. So in that way, you can dynamically determine what's going to be the best price. Often that's the less, if you have multiple discounts or things going on, a lot of customers use this as the best price being the lowest price, but you have the ability to also set a minimum. And so you could create, for instance, a price schedule that calculates the minimum based on cost plus 50%. Like I never want to sell for less than 1.5 times cost, and that could be your minimum. And then you could set the rules up so that the highest value comes back. In that case, the minimum. If you go below the minimum, then the minimum would invoke, and that way you would make sure you don't undersell things if you over discount. So let's take a look at a given price schedule. Here's the retail price book. This one does not have a filter on it, so that means it's going to apply to everyone out of the book, out of the start. And we have some starting points. When you're using a given price schedule, where do you start from? And those options are here. And the most common ones include the item cost, the item list price, or a price book. And a price book is like a catalog. And then of course the item cost and the item list price come from specific items which you manage inside of GP. So if I hop back over to my items here and I pull up the SCSI 1 terabyte SCSI RAID drive, you can see in item currencies here that in US dollars anyway, that the cost amount is $8.90 and the list price happens to be 0. We can of course change that, but this does integrate back to GP. If you change the cost amount in GP or the list price amount in GP, we synchronize it here, but these can be starting places. Now it's really handy to start from the cost amount if you want to do cost plus type pricing. It also helps to have an MSRP or list price if you want to start there and then discount down. Either is acceptable. And additionally, the list price can pull from almost any numerical field inside of GP that's tied to the item. It doesn't have to be specifically the list price, but we can map it to something else. And GP carries standard cost, last cost, I believe, average cost as well. And we can point to the cost field that you want to use there as well. In some cases, if you have it in GP that you have, for instance, landed cost, we can point to that. This cost amount, again, is mapped to what you want it to be. So going back to our price schedule, we choose where we want to start. Besides cost and price, we have the price book, and I'll show you the price book in just a moment. And then we have some other advanced features that allow you to reuse some information, which is beyond the scope of this webinar right now, because there are lots of little features here that we don't have time to show. In this case, the price book is what you might think it would be. It's a giant catalog of information. And so we're going to jump to the retail MSRP price book right now. That price book is made up of price sheets. Now, one price sheet changes from another based on the date and perhaps the currency. Most people are single currency, but in this case, we've got 2023 retail prices, which go from 2023 to 2028. I had to update it to 2028 because the sample data is in 2027, and I was struggling with why isn't it calculated, but normally it would be 23. And the reason, and so what this allows you to do is set up ahead of time the next date range of prices, and it can be to the nearest day. We are date driven, so up to a specific day, so you can change your prices every day if you want. This allows you to set up your prices ahead of time and build those price sheets if you are price sheet driven. Now let's take a look at what that price sheet looks like. We have the ability to just list all the items by item number. We can also set up pricing by item customer combination. You also have filtering, and so if you have like a set of 20 items that are all t-shirts and they're all grouped to a rock t-shirt, then and all those t-shirts are the same price, you can actually put a pricing filter with one price on that group of items, and that way you only have to manage one price for all those items, assuming the price is all the same, rather than having to enter 20 different t-shirts individually and put the price in 20 times. So there's a lot of scales of efficiency there in that. But a price book contains price sheets that contains price lists in it. And so that's a pretty common concept that people can use. So that's another way to start with your price calculation or your price schedule, where it starts from. Next up is a set of calculations. After we start with it, we have a 4%, a 10%, and a 17% discount based on certain things. And then we have that fee. I think you saw a moment ago, we passed that $5 fee back in. The discounts are based on filters. And so in this case, we have a 4% discount in May of 27. If it's in the month of May that we're being sold, you're going to see that 4% discount. If it doesn't match the May of 2027, then the discount is not going to apply. In this calculation, we have the ability to track this discount to a debit and a credit account if need be. If let's go back to the price schedules here. If the 4% discount does not apply, it just skips this calculation and goes to the next one. This 10% discount has a filter on silver customers. I know that Aaron, that neither of the two people that I picked had a filter that neither one of them was silver. And then it just goes down the list for that 17% discount. It did apply based on its filter. The fee applied, but the 3-cent rebate did not when we were doing that one example. And so with the calculations, you can turn them on and off or make them filtered so that they apply or they don't apply. And you can stack as many as you wish there. All right, let's go ahead and cover sources there. And then we'll take a look real quick at filters. So pricing filters are incredibly powerful. The most common way that you use them is through customer and item attributes, but there's many other ways to do that. So here's a place where we can have a filter for gold customers, and that's just if the customer class is equal to gold. And so it would be common to say, oh, my gold customers, they're of a higher tier, and I always give them 10% off everything that happens or anything that they sell. That's an example of how you can use the filter to drive a calculation on a price. We saw this one that's a date-driven filter. So this is May of 2027. And then here's a silver customer is the same. Let's take a look at an item one. Here's one that's based on item class, item of RM-ACT. And so every item that's in that item class will match this filter. And if you want to know which items in the filter, we can sort those down. Here's the ones that match that filter. And there's 18 of them. And so these items, if you had a calculation or some scenario that was set up to where this filter was applied, this filter would apply to all 18 of these items. And that's where the power comes in, is that you don't have to set up 18 rules or 18 prices or 18 discounts. You just use use a filter to filter out what you want to use, and you write it one time. All right, with that, and we have pricing scenarios. So what pricing scenarios are allow you to test the different setups inside of RPM to see what's working, or how are things working, how are things calculating. So here's a place where we have advanced paper. We have that SCSI RAID drive being sold to Advanced Paper Company. And the date is today, May 3rd. And let's see, technical values there. Anyway, it looks like we're going to execute this, and it did find a price, $8.90. And that price is going to be calculated and shown in the results of what it found. And what's cool about this scenario is that we have diagnostics. The diagnostics allow you to see exactly how it calculates things. Now, if you have insomnia, this is a great thing to read, but if you are a computer geek and you're setting up pricing, it's really, really handy to go through step by step and see exactly how all this pricing was determined, how it used which filters, which if the filter applied or not, which price schedule was used. Let's go back here a second. Let's take a look at this processor here. Here we have no price schedules selected. So this is, again, using a dynamic pricing. So it's going to, when we execute this, we're going to get a specific one, and it finds the retail customer price. And there, of course, is the price adjustments that get passed back as well. But you can, if you want, set up a very specific price schedule that you want to use. So in this case, I don't want to, this one I want to do, should never do this in a demo, but if you want the junior tech, probably not, it's probably not set up completely. Of course not. But it wants to use the junior tech one, and the price was found, but it doesn't match the expected. So let's go back on A3, save and close. And here's a case where we were expecting the price to be $120, but because we changed the price schedule to junior tech, it came up with $0. And now we have the ability to say, hey, 0 and 120 don't match. Let's go digging and look. And so we can go to the diagnostics log. We can find that the initial price is an input value which did not come over. Unit price is 0, therefore the price is 0. And that actually is accurate because we didn't have an input price, but input price is a more advanced usage of RPM. RPM does have an API that you can call from outside sources, such as e-commerce sites, and you can input a starting price if you'd like. And that's what that example was. If for some reason you think that this price of 0 is accurate and you want it to be, then you can set expected to return, and it will turn green. And that way you know that your test is good and ready to go. What's nice about these pricing scenarios is you can have them all set up as a baseline of testing. You can go and mess with your different calculations, your filters, your price schedules, and update things. And then you can execute them all and see, do I still get the same result? Because sometimes you can mess something up that has an unintended impact on other things. But overall, that is a quick overview of how RPM works with GP. So back to you, Blake. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, it looks like we have 2 questions here. Someone asks, is there a limit to the number of discounts you can add?
Oh, it's a great question. The answer is no. On the price calculations that you build are unlimited, and you can filter each one or not filter them. And that's what's very powerful about it, because GP only has one markdown amount, whereas with using RPM, you can have unlimited discounts, promotions, or whatever. And every single one of those discounts, no matter which is unlimited, can be tracked to a GL account if you'd like. So yes, there are no limitations there. And looking at a price schedule here, this retail price has six different discounts or things like this, price adjustments on it. So yeah, there is no limit there.
Great. And we have one more question. How is RPM priced? I would be happy to answer that myself. We price RPM based on your user count, your full user count in Dynamics GP. So it starts at 0 to 20 users, and then it goes up by 20 user tiers. The next tier is 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80, and 81 plus. It starts at $5.99 a month, going up to $999 a month in $100 increments, with implementation starting at $4,999, moving up in $1,000 increments up to $8,999.
Great. Thanks for answering that one, Mike. Any other questions in the queue?
Doesn't look like it at this time.
All right. Well, thank you for those attended. Let's double check here. Give us our contact us information.
I'm sorry, we do have a question.
Okay, great.
Can you get a discount based on order total?
Based on the order total. That's a great question. So what you're working with there on order total is, I'm just double checking. If the total of the order is, that is a document level discount. And the answer is, the high level answer is no. And so like this document, the total is $3,000. Could you make a discount on this? And I don't think that we have a way. We do have a custom SQL calculation. I believe that would be a customization. We basically put all of our discounts at the line level, and each line level has can track those given discounts. Now you can take, for instance, and if I'm trying to think of how you would do that. Document level. Nah, I don't know if that would work. It's a good head scratcher though. So contact us and let's see if we can make a way. But there are document attributes such as, you know, like a date, or let's say the batch ID is Mark in this case. You could have a 10% discount on every line because of this value there. But a specific document total, no. Document level discounts are tracked here at the trade discount level, which we do not integrate with. We only integrate with discounts on the specific line itself. And so here's the details here. And so there's unlimited discounts on a given line, but no, we do not currently do document level discounts. Great question though.
Thanks, Mark. That looks like all we have for questions.
Great. Well, let's wrap it up then. Put this slide back up. There we go.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for that demonstration, and thank you to all who were able to attend today. Sorry, did you have something, Mark?
I do not. Nope.
Oh, okay, great. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at sales@rocktonsoftware.com. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this webinar on RPM for Dynamics GP, and we hope we can help you work simpler and easier soon. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day. Bye.